Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today our group will be present about subject sport and exercise biomechanics. The topic is about kinematic analysis of plyometric push up. The slides are already prepared for Dr. Muhammad bin Hamdan. Okay, next is group members. There are 5 of us. First is Nurul Izzah binti Ahmad Murad. Second is Ahmad Afifi bin Muhammad Zulkifli. Third is Nur Azhara Adrina. Fourth is me, Muhammad Hafiz Rafiuddin bin Muhammad Asri. And fifth, Nurul Syafiqah binti Johari. Okay, my name is Muhammad Hafiz Rafiuddin bin Muhammad Asri. I am the first presenter for this topic, which is I will present about introduction. Okay, plyometric push-up is an advanced upper body exercise that improves strength, power and speed using the stretch shortening cycle. It is commonly used in sports such as rugby, basketball and martial arts to enhance explosive upper body performance. The main muscle involved are the pectoralis major, triceps brachii and anterior deltoid, while the serratus anterior, trapezius and core muscles provide stability. The movement mainly occurs at the shoulder, elbow and wrist joint, involving both angular and linear motion with a third-class lever system. Kinovia video analysis software was used to measure joint angles and movement during the eccentric, propulsion, flight and landing phase. Purpose of the study to analyze the biomechanics of the plyometric push-up among UiTM participants using Kinovia video motion analysis. Okay, next for the physiological involvement. First is muscle. There are 3 categories of muscle that involve in this exercise. First is prime movers, which is pectoralis major, triceps brachii and anterior deltoid. Second is stabilizer muscles, which is serratus anterior, core muscles and latissimus dorsi. Third is the function is to produce force and maintain stability. Second is bones, which is clavicle, scapula, humerus, radius ulna, carpal bones, which is the function is to support the body and transfer force. Third is joint. First is shoulder, which is glenohumeral. Second is elbow, wrist, and the function is for enable movement and absorb impact. Okay, let's move to the article review. First is objective. The objective is to compare the mechanical and neuromuscular demands of 4 plyometric push-up variation. Next is there is 4 variation plyometric push-up, which is first peak flight, elbow flexion, elbow displacement, hand supination and ground reaction force. Okay, for the key finding, which is first clap push-up produce the higher peak of VGRF, which is ground reaction force. It requires the greater force production during takeoff, show the largest elbow flexion displacement which is 20.79 degree, greater stretch shortening cycle utilization, improving elastic energy storage and explosive force. Second is clap push up, which is relies on internal force production, require greater neuromuscular control and coordination, and higher mechanical demand. Last is box drop push up. Use gravitational potential energy from the box. Focus more on eccentric loading and landing force absorption. For the conclusion of this article review is clap push up is the most demanding variation, effective for improving explosive upper body power, should be introduced progressively to reduce stress on the shoulder and elbow joint. Okay, that's all from me.
So, I will to continue to describe about methodology. The next step is motion capture technique. Kinovia frame-by-frame playback function enable preparation indication of critical events within the movement cycle, such as lowest push-up position, peak force, duration during takeoff, maximum flight, head and initial ground, contact during landing the reference points with essentials for ensuring consistent same action across the trial and participants. Second is a plyometric push-up movement was recorded using a Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra smartphone camera operating at frame rate of 244 frames per second to capture the rapid movement accurately. The camera was positioned at approximately 3 meters from the participant and perpendicular to the plane of motion to obtain a clear center plane views. The third capture was conducted on a flat, stable surface to maintain consistency across all trials, with a standard execution zone that include the preparation markers we placed on the ground to guide consistent hand placement, body alignment, and push-up depth, movement compressions between trials. A single high-speed video camera was used to record all movement from a lateral perspective, positions approximately 150 cm above ground level and perpendicular to the execution zone. This setup enabled accurate captures of sector plane motion, detailed analysis of joint kinematics such as shoulder flexion and extension, and elbow displacement. This slide is described about selection of variables. Angle A is using the shoulder angle indicating the position and stability of the shoulder joint during both the decisions, eccentric base and eccentric base. This angle is important for maintaining upper body control and ensuring proper movement and precision throughout the exercise. Second, angle B denotes the elbow angle, which reflects the degree of elbow reflections during the lowering phase and elbow extension during the lifting phase to upper body proportions during the push-up. And the angle C represents the hip angle, illustrating the alignment of the trunk and lower body to maintain an appropriate hip angle. And the last is angle D, indicates the wrist angle, showing the alignment of the wrist joint beneath the shoulder.
Now I will present the result and the data collection for our kinematic analysis of the plyometric push-up. As shown in the table, we analyzed there are 3 participants, which is Afifi, Hafiz, and Yusri. For each participant, kita have software that we use to identify there is 2 important positions during push-up movement, which is initial contact position and also maximal descent position. The initial contact representing the starting position, whereas the elbow are mostly full extend before lowering the body. The maximum descent is lowest point of the push-up, where the elbow flexion reaches its maximum before the participant push explosive upwards. There is 2 positions were selected because they are allowed to calculate elbow flexion placement, which is important indicator of movement range during eccentric phase of the plyometric push-up. Elbow flexion displacement. This table shows that elbow flexion displacement for all 3 participants in 3 trials. So overall, the results were quite consistent. Afifi record value between 110 and 124 degrees. Hafiz record value between 117.5 and 124 degrees. And user record value between 114.5 and 115.5 degree. This means that all participants perform in movement consistently through all the 3 trials. Mean elbow flexion displacement. This table shows the average elbow flexion displacement for each participant, which is for Afifi we get 111.5 degree, Hafiz get 120.33 degrees, and Yusri get 115 degrees. Which is Hafiz had the highest average elbow displacement, which is mean he bent his elbow more during the lowering phase. This may help produce greater force during the explosive push-up. Afifi had the lowest average, while Yusri result between the 2 participants, which is Afifi and also Hafiz. In conclusion, the participants show consistent performance during the 3 trials. However, Hafiz recorded the highest elbow flexion displacement, followed by Yusri and Afifi. It showed that the elbow flexion displacement can be used to evaluate plyometric push-up technique and upper body performance.
Discussion. Hafiz record the highest mean elbow flexion displacement 1 to 0.33, indicating better shock absorption during landing. Usually show a consistent elbow flexion 115.00, reflecting good movement control and stable landing technique. Afifi record the lowest displacement 11.50, suggesting a stiffer landing and higher joint loading. A greater elbow flexion help absorb impact force and reduce stress on the wrist, elbow, and shoulder. Overall, proper elbow flexion during landing improve performance and lower injury risk. Perform a proper warm-up before the exercise. Maintain a straight body posture throughout the movement. Next, lower the body with a control before pushing explosively and softly with a slight elbow flexion to absorb impact. Practice consistently with a correct technique to improve power and reduce injury risk.
Lastly is a conclusion. The objective of this study is to analyze elbow flexion or elbow flexion displacement when landing during a plyometric push-up. For this study, we used 3 male participants and we used 2D video analysis and Kinesia software to get the data. Second is a result. From the data, we can see that every participant have a different landing style. Firstly is Hafiz. He got the highest angle at 120.33 degree. This means he is the best at absorbing the shock when landing. Second is Yusri. Show that very consistent and stable landing mechanic in all 3 tire. And for last participant, the lowest angle at 111.50 degree. This show a stiffer landing strategy which can cause high distress or pain on the joint if done repeatedly. Why this happen? Is this because from a biomechanical perspective, bending your elbow properly during landing is very important to reduce the impact force on your upper body. If you have a good landing technique, you can improve your performance and protect your wrist, elbow, and shoulder from overuse injury. In conclusion, doing the test and analyzing the video was very smooth and effective process. Kinesia software proved that to be a great, easy, and practical tool for sport and biomechanical analysis without needing expensive lab equipment. The finding of this test can really help coach and athlete to improve their push-up technique, build better upper body power, and design safer training program. I think that's all from my group. Thank you.